because it's more about the personal expression than, say, as an entrepreneur, where it is about both the personal expression as well as solving problems for people for profit, which is fundamentally what an entrepreneur does. So in this framework, that's what we like to just establish right away. Let's see, I might have to mute Charles.
No, that was me going live. So,
Oh, sorry. In this context of entrepreneurs who are using retreats to scale their impact and income in the world, right? So that's what we mean by retreatpreneur, entrepreneurs who are using retreats to scale their impact and income. Here's as we see it, the current situation that a lot of retreat leaders fall into. This is an image of what it's like when they're on the retreat and wonderful out in nature, feels so expansive. And then this is their life the rest of the time, working with their online funnels and their sponsored ads and trying to get people to show up. Maybe if I tweak this on my flyer, then it will get more attention. If I just get more likes and posts out in the world, then people will show up. And consequently, what this leads to is people working too hard for too little. Typically, when people come to us, they have some version of that situation, working too hard for too little. They're oftentimes selling one retreat at a time, and they don't know any other way to do it. They think, well, I'm just going to put a retreat on, and then hopefully people will sign up for it. And then as I grow my base, it'll be easier to have people sign up. Yet they're still fundamentally doing one retreat at a time. It's hard to get people to sign up where they'll have their online marketing and then just see as day after day rolls by and people are not signing up for the retreat. So it can be scary, it can be frustrating, especially since retreats are especially done with a quality to them, which is the only retreat worth doing. They're not necessarily cheap to produce. They do call forth a certain level of luxury experience sometimes, something that really is memorable for folks, such that they would want to come back again and again, right? So they're not cheap to produce. And there's no retention strategy, meaning that after the retreat, oftentimes it's okay, thanks for coming, and hopefully we'll see you at the next one, whenever that one is, because the retreat leader has been so focused on this one retreat that they haven't had time to even think about the next one. Some other things I could note here is that there's no niche audience oftentimes, where someone might, to use the Santorini example, have the images of Greece. I'm looking at you, Kat, since we spoke about Greece yesterday. And they'll expect that to do the heavy lifting for the event. And the problem with that is the only commonality that will emerge among your retreat participants is that they want to go to Santorini. And nowadays, with more retreats than ever before, which is on one hand wonderful, it also leads to a market saturation issue. And just relying on pretty pictures of your location is not going to cut it anymore. When people go on retreats, they want to be around others whom they can really bond with, share commonality. They're on the same frequency. I know I went on a retreat to Okinawa, and there were people who were very, very different from me. Like they worked in corporate, they were there with their mom as like a getaway between mother-daughter bonding, and it's cool. And at the same time, there wasn't a sense of, I found my soul family. I really want to stay in touch with you. I want to rise together. And that's what we'll be digging into further about the tribe aspect of having retreats. So, gang, as we're going through this, we'd like to make it conversational. This is not a lecture format. So, if anything speaks to you that you feel compelled to share, you can go ahead and unmute and share what's there for you. In the meantime, Monsi, do you want to add anything to this? You're muted, Monsi.
my stand is that let's not get away from our country, make our country so amazing that we can find the gems here to actually keep the economy here, grow it. And we know that the big players and the money is here. When someone buys a land in Bali and Costa Rica, we have friends who are struggling to build these things out because it's a big commitment to go out there and, put a stop to your life. So I personally stand by America having the most amazing locations possible, and that's what we're building here, including ours. So we're here on a 4 acre property, and we're really building it out to be this retreat center that's fully fleshed out. And then what we're doing is we're creating systems so we can give everyone who to hire for the land, anything liberation or land patents and stuff like that, and how to raise money for it. So that's what we're bringing to our country.
Yeah, it's a big game, guys. So please do strap in. You're going to hear things that you've never heard before in the context of this. And the bigger you're willing to see your life and your mission, the better this is going to go for you. On the flip side, when it comes to this audience of retreat leaders, what's possible, what we have accomplished ourselves and helped others accomplish is that they're earning at least $25,000 per month consistently. And that's a phrase that the more time we spend together, you're going to hear us use a lot, MRR, which stands for monthly recurring revenue. And, I use this example of how someone who works, say, a corporate job, that they will stay in a job that they dislike, that drains their soul year after year after year because of one thing, the steady paycheck. And that's so important to have that steady paycheck to that person that they'll sacrifice their higher purpose, their health at times. They're in a toxic environment, right? I know Monty has had that background before. And that's why recognizing that as entrepreneurs, we have to replace that corporate paycheck equivalent as soon as possible. So we say a corporate paycheck might be like in the low six figures, like say 200,000 or 300,000 a year if you're doing well in that space. Then we got to think on those same terms as retreat leaders. How can we be earning 200,000 to 300,000 per year? And this is to start, guys. Just like how you would be placed in a good corporate position, as a retreat leader, the model has to be one that you'll be earning to start 200,000 to 300,000 per year. So that's where we're going with this, and then it scales up from there. We say having a retreat ecosystem. This is one of Monty's favorite phrases. Do you want to share about that one, honey?
Absolutely. So, how can we bring all of our offerings and gifts in one place? And then from there, there is one retreat bringing about 4 to 5 incomes, is what we are creating a genius as, because there's so many things that we can do when we go deep with the right people. And that's what we've been able to do is we scaled from just 10K months to 100K months. And now we're building out this property. We have another 80 acres that we're building. And what we want to do is build these ecosystems with others and create a multi-billion-dollar industry, because this is where it's headed. Retreats are the future.
Yeah, and to that point, gang, this is why, and I'll take on the screen share for this. When we look to the state of humanity right now, it's been well documented that there is a loneliness epidemic as we look to media and the polarization tactics that are used, and how family members don't talk to one another simply because they voted for different presidential candidates, right? Like, this is some of the symptoms of what we have as a fractured humanity right now. And we can go into theories about why that is and if it's done deliberately and all that. Yeah, it's not really the point. This is what we're dealing with right now. We take the case that you're here because bringing people together, whether it's cities, towns, retreats, that's a core value of yours. It's one of the reasons that you're put on earth, is to bring people together, which we look to as creating unity, right? The way that the biggest history makers of all time, the ones that we really look up to, Abraham Lincoln unifying North and South, Nelson Mandela unifying South Africa with blacks and whites, Gandhi unifying the Muslims and Hindus, that there is this history of unification as a leader that we're really standing for. And in this post-COVID era, where so much of the in-person events, I know I was going to hotel ballroom seminars a lot. I've been in the industry since 2011, so I went to many, many hotel ballrooms. I hosted many events, hotel ballrooms. Those events have gone online. And they determined that they can charge the same amount and have a lot more people there and make a lot more money by doing it online. Has anyone recognized this trend? Yes. And on one hand, good for them. Who am I to say they should do anything different? However, I can say that the three transformational seminars that most positively impacted my life, I know it was impactful because it was in person. And if they did their stuff online, like I know myself, I cannot sit through uh, 3 days on Zoom. It just doesn't work for me at all. And Monty is the same. And I know that there's many, many other people who also feel like this is not a transformational experience. The type of experience that cracks you open, that makes you want to come back again and again and again. And in this post-COVID era, now is the time to really double down on the in-person or quadruple down on the in-person. Audiences are craving this. They're craving authenticity away from all the hyperbole and platitudes of online. They're really craving that deep, authentic connection. And because it's so valuable, of course, you should be abundantly rewarded for it. I'd love to share a little bit about who Monty and I are and give some context for our journey and how we arrived. Before I do that, though, actually, I want to just hear. Actually, Monty, can you take that on for a second?
Sure.
Let's hear from Kat and Charles. Like, what are you excited about in the retreat space? How do you see yourself showing up in this way, in this arena, bringing people together? What do you see possible?
The genesis of my idea to facilitate retreats in Milos, Greece, and Maui, Hawaii, is my desire to have a work-life balance. I've been in the car business for over 25 years, and I personified everything that you said, John. I was in a toxic environment, although my paycheck was not consistent because I was on 100% commission as a finance director. I was at the mercy of my team and at the mercy of how many car sales. So because I didn't get a chance to send my children for us to go to Greece and for them to see their ancestors, where my parents are from, and the same in Maui. My parents moved to Maui 45 years ago from the Midwest. I thought, well, what a great way to see my sister and be able to experience Maui in a way that I wasn't able to while I was working. I also supported my family and my husband because he hit his head and got amnesia. And then in Greece, I wasn't able to share Greece with my children. So that is really the impetus of why I wanted to do it in those locations. Milos has a synchronistic reason, and someday I'll share that as well. In the meantime, I understand the power of circles. Of course, the one-on-one is the bread and butter, but I really want to, I desire to expand that in the circle environment, which you are also proponents of. My vision is to invite, and it could be anything, but this is what it is today, to invite younger doctors, mostly women, to the retreats so that the reason I say younger is because I believe that as a collective consciousness, these people in the younger generations than myself are born with an elevated open mind and consciousness compared to, let's say, my generation. They have one foot in spirituality and one foot in perhaps Western medicine and more traditional healing modalities.
Hmm.
When these women or women and men come to the retreats, hopefully they will bring back these spiritual tools to their patients. Their patients will bring it back to their spouses, to their children. And what one idea inspires 144,000, and we pay it forward, and then they pay it forward. So that is my initial vision, but it's just big. My ideas and heart are just so big, I don't know how to contain it. So this is why I like this framework, and that yesterday was a miraculous day meeting you all.
Oh, we love hearing that. One thing I'll just reflect back. We were on Natasha Graziano's podcast a couple of days ago, and this very thing came up, how in China, how they'll have one wing will be for the Eastern medicine, and another wing will be for the Western medicine. so that you have the option, right, to choose which one, or to work with a doctor to determine which is the best treatment for you, where it's a lot more balanced and I would say more conscious. So I do feel that, to quote Buckminster Fuller, there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. And this is one of those for the US. Before we go to Charles, anything you want to add to that, Monsi, regarding what Kat just shared?
Well, yeah, I feel like we're really in this new earth economy where we have to bring ancient wisdom and we will use modern day technology and create a world that actually works for everyone.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you, Kat.
Good to
I
have
would
you.
love to hear from Charles. What is his vision and what he's craving?
Right. So hi everyone. I think for me, my one's probably a bit more basic. I was 20 when I saved up for my first retreat. I'm not sure it was a retreat, but kind of a place that I took my girlfriend at the time to go for her 21st birthday. And I starved myself for 3 months, saving up lunch money just to make that one night possible.
Wow.
And I've never been to that place. I've only saw it on a website. And when we finally arrived, it was just took both of our breath away so much that it shaped the rest of our lives. And so, to me, it's the level of experience which didn't. When I say shaped the rest of my life, it actually eventually it became the foundation building block that caused me to build towns and create places of significant experiential differences to your typical town. And so, because I believe in the power of place and the need for us to be intricately, it's an art form that you're echoing with. So what am I doing now? I guess I decided that I came to the US and I have a vision to create cities. But I was like, rather than tell and give another vision video render of some sort of whatever city, I'm gonna let you feel it. And so decided to build a place, well, have built a place where really brought together the best that I can express on some of the things that I want to communicate, and see whether I could bring in the leaders of the world to resonate with that and resonate like I did when I was 20. Yeah.
Were you
That
looking to
must have
build
been just a couple years ago, right, Charles? Because you look like 22. Asians never really age. So,
Yeah,
uh,
I have the Asian genes on my mom's side too, so I'm halfway blessed at least. Where were you looking to build your next project?
So one of them I want to work on is something around in the Washington D.C. area, so probably downtown D.C. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And then it would be not an eco village, but how would you describe it?
Uh, well, that one is more like that's like township. Like think of Florence as a town. You're gonna develop a
Okay.
town. So, but before that, I think I already built a place in Washington D.C., which is more like a retreat space, like an estate. Yeah. So I'm just work. I guess I'm just dialing in to figure out how to activate. I've already built it now, and now because I know how to build it, I'm just figuring out how should I position this rightly. So because I don't like to undervalue things. And so sometimes I feel like putting a number on it cheapens it. So I was like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a perfect inquiry to be in. And I believe that every relationship is divinely guided. So this is a sacred connection that we get to explore further here. There's two angles that we usually do presentations like this from. One is from the retreat leader side, where someone is already doing retreats or wants to start doing retreats, and we help them maximize that model and avoid a lot of the mistakes that we see happen and be as profitable as possible. And I already started talking a bit about that. The other angle we do this from is where someone already has land and they're looking to really maximize that property, because oftentimes, obviously, the standard is that someone acquires land and then they raise their family there, and it's not a cash flowing asset. So Robert Kiyosaki beats this drum relentlessly in Rich Dad Poor Dad, is that your house is not an asset, it's a liability. It doesn't put money in your pocket, right? And while he's right in terms of how it's typically done, what Kiyosaki does not address is here are the ways in which you can make your property, a cash flowing asset. And that's what we have done, where we earn about 800,000 a year from our property, and it's just going up from that. And that's something that we're really excited about, because as tribes, which is a very big term with us, where it's the next level beyond a community, because you could have a Facebook community or a WhatsApp community. Or people say like the LGBTQ community or Black community, yet everyone lives in different places, right? So tribe is about gathering in person in one location. And as we see it, tribes of conscious entrepreneurs and investors, when we come together, that's how humanity moves forward in the most powerful ways possible. So that's a lot of our focus, is creating tribes on land where it's entrepreneurs and investors who are committed to raising consciousness, growing their businesses, and rising together.
So before we move on from this topic,
Charles, did you want to add something?
Well, I was going to add that we have a tribe leader who's built a thriving community, who's looking to do something in DC. So, I mean, it's not by chance that you're on this call, because he's craving that and was not sure what estate and all that, because, you know, a lot of it is more on the West Coast. So we'd love to see how we can introduce you to the right leaders to now monetizing your estate that you've built with so much heart and love and vision.
Thank you. Yeah, John, so I was just making the point, the word tribe really resonates, because I think one thing I'm thinking about is, if I may speak openly here, because it doesn't really, I think there's not a lot of people here, so I'm sure you guys we can keep it to us.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I think the level of investment that I put into this place probably will need you to charge, technically speaking, it will charge 25,000 per night.
Wow. So you put in a lot of.
Yeah. And so it's like, I don't want to put that number because it'll just scare people away, but then I don't want to cheapen it either. So I'm like really stuck in a really weird place, but I wouldn't compromise. I'm like, you will be driven a Rolls Royce, because that's what I know to be my best possible experience. And it's, and so, so to the point about tribe, I think, and one of the reasons why I am thinking about this, because can't do the city building thing alone. It needs to be done with other people that can share a same mission with me. But it's kind of hard when you don't have a frame that's kind of promoting it, maybe. And at this point, I'm like stuck in this position for like 3 months now. I'm like, oh, do I let this out? Do I not let this out? Do I take photos? Or I don't take photos? So
I get it. We are building this 80-acre city, kind of like a futuristic city. And that's the conundrum, right? So we have to build out a model which is not, again, per night. It's more of a community tribe, the place. And then we're launching at $250,000 offers, right? For that one. That makes it worth it, because then now you can sell it to 10 people and make it a worthwhile. So that's also something we can do as a side topic when we do one-on-one. Yes, Kat.
This brings me to another inspiration. And at this moment, my worlds are meeting right now. The other vision that I had really didn't have a lot to do with retreats, but it had to do with the ley lines of the land, about the beautiful energies as an evolutionary, to create communities. And I love the word indigenous. So it translates to tribe. So I really respect that, and like your use of tribe. When I went to Bali, when I have seen pods in Maui, it's inspired me to have a community, a living community, but a luxury living community, probably similar to what Charles is building or has built. So you have your community center, this beautiful kitchen and living space, and then each family has their own home on the property with a biodynamic farm, organic farming, and everything self-contained, and maybe even a part of it off the grid. So what you're creating and what you've created definitely is in line with another vision I had. But right now, having the retreats on this property is putting it all together. And I'm really like, I'm very inspired right now.
Thank you for sharing that.
All right, we're going to share a little bit about ourselves. I know I'm always curious, like, who are these people? What are they about? So we'll spend a few minutes doing that. So this is us, John and Monsi. We go by John C. We've embraced the portmanteau, combining our names. We met at my communication seminar in 2022. So I've been in the transformational industry since 2011 and have led many hotel ballroom seminars. So I was doing one in 2022, and Monty came in and I got down on one knee. No, I'm exaggerating, but not by a whole lot. It was a case of love at first sight, truly. And as we spent more time together, she came on as a client first out of that retreat, and recognizing that we really were, as we call it, a divine union. And, I don't mean to come off pretentious or anything like that. It's just what we declared it as, is that this was for a higher mission, our relationship, that it wasn't just about, having fun and being in love, that it had to really shift humanity, us being together as a couple. And for that, it meant really unifying people across the planet. As we look to the different systems of control, as our first date was about, is how from American education to the media and so many other examples of Western medical system, how it's not in the highest interest of people, oftentimes really, really what empowers people. So that's what we're here to do, is to truly empower people and bring them together. In that time, we have helped retreat leaders go from earning $1,000 per month to $30,000 per month. And it varies. Sometimes people are already earning $10,000 per month and they go to 50 or 100,000 per month. Value of ours is tribe first, which means that what serves a tribe most, as a tribe leader, it is like being the mayor of a small town, where the type of leader who would be doing what's best for that town at all times. That is the sacred role that we inhabit with our tribe, and that we train other tribe leaders to do with their tribes. And we do empower landholders to maximize their impact and income, and just the sacred role that we play as landholders. As Monty said, we have our 4-acre property with our dome where we host our events. And then our 80 acre is our next project that we're developing. And we work with many other landholders as well to be hosting their tribal gatherings. I'll share a little bit about myself. So I come from that hotel ballroom space and was trying to be like so many of the other leaders whom I saw, who would be positioning himself as a leader and selling their programs. And after earning about $250,000 a year doing that type of work, eventually got to this place that Monsignor and I want to have it, where this is what our property looks like. So this is the inside of our dome. So in honor of Buckminster Fuller, and I give Monty the credit for the vision here, we have a dome where we host our sessions, 40 people.
Yeah, see that slide, John.
What's that?
The slide stuck at your you in hotel ballroom.
How about now?
Yeah.
All right, thanks. So this is what the dome looks like from the inside, and then this is the outside of the property. Monty, do you want to explain what's going on here?
Yeah, so we currently had a few structures that are already built out. And then we added the dome, and we're adding these tiny houses and another video dome, AI-powered video dome. So as this grows, we're going to have a full staff membership model here, which is already growing right now at about 800, 900,000. But our goal is to bring this location to a couple million and then move on to next location.
And a little bit more about where we're going. Our great vision is to have 240 plus active abundance tribes led by ATLs, which stands for Abundant Tribe Leaders. So to have, I've compared this before to BNI, Business Networking International, or EO, Entrepreneurs Organization, where for their time, BNI was founded in 1985. EO was founded in 1987. That was appropriate for its time and served its purpose. And BNI and EO both exist, and bringing people together at cafes for an hour and their referral network. And it served its purpose in many ways. And as we see it, in terms of this next level, because human consciousness has grown so much since 1985, that this next level of business owners coming together is through retreats and being in tribe, specifically an abundance tribe, which is our term for an entrepreneur mastermind, right? So they're in this abundance tribe that's comprised of going to retreats and really doing their deep inner work, upgrading their wealth frequency, releasing past generational traumas or from childhood, and really honoring their highest mission for humanity. And when you have 24 plus tribe members, these entrepreneurs and investors inside of each tribe, locked in arms, who are rising together, creating generational wealth, that's how we maximize the impact. So from the tribes that we already have in place, we've already seen this. People are already referring to this as the most life-changing, best thing ever done in their entire lives is joining an abundance tribe. People who say that, who've joined our tribe, have said that to us many times. And because it's the most fulfilling thing that we've ever done, that's why we're so committed to being in the world as much as possible. With that, 24 plus ARC locations. So ARC stands for Abundance Retreat Club. That's the name of our 4-acre property we just shared here. This is our flagship. And we see owning other properties or being partners too, because we love doing this with others, where we would be developing other ARC locations where these tribe gatherings would be happening on the land. Because the age of renting hotel ballrooms or Airbnbs and having to play by their rules and all that, it just doesn't feel good. I mean, there's a lot I can say about it. It just doesn't feel very sovereign and empowering and able to bring all parts of yourself to it. And that carries over into the attendee experience. That's why a lot of these events are only marginally transformational, whether in a hotel ballroom or an Airbnb. Yet when it's on land that has been really soulfully chosen and developed in every way by the landholder, and whether that person is the ATL themselves or they partner with an ATL to have it on their land, that's where the magic happens.
Mm-hmm.
And to Monty's point earlier about the 80-acre, we're developing the ARC Academy campus for entrepreneurs and investors ages 17 to 22. That's what our 80-acre property is dedicated to. We won't go into that detail. That's a longer conversation. But that's one of our stands, is that for the 4-year undergrad experience, to create an alternative for people who have entrepreneur and investing in their blood. It's really imperative that there be a campus dedicated for these young people to come together and learn consciousness when it comes to communication, leadership, relationship with one another. It's so needed in our world. So that's what the 80-acre property is that we have here in Julian. And then we have a fund, which we won't talk about here. What this is, an investment fund, because a big value of ours is having your money work for you. And too oftentimes in America in particular, this tendency towards just grinding it out and staying on the hamster wheel and just showing up for that paycheck over and over. And even if you become an entrepreneur, like in Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, you move from employee to self-employed, you basically built yourself a job. So you're still just showing up again and again and again. So the game is to be moving to this right side of the quadrant, business owner, investor, where you have income coming in from your investments. So we're really committed to the tribe members having that. And then we plan to have our own children to continue our legacy work. So that's a bit about us and where we're going. Monty, you want to add anything to this?
No, we can move on.
Okay, cool. That's what I think. So
well,
we
want to talk about the Hermoses, because that's definitely a good reference point. So Hermoses built out gym launch, and they own some gym and they help some other gym owners, and they created a whole ecosystem that they sold for 100 million. Now, I personally see that retreat centers, tribes, and all of the new earth economy is a multi-billion-dollar market. And as Charles was saying, that we can't do this alone. Like we can't build and then just expect that people are going to see the value of it. It's through the tribes, it's through partnerships, it's through strategic collaborations. And if they can do, just two of them can do 100 million together, all the leaders who have the vision, we lock arms and make each other's dreams come true. And I see a multi-billion-dollar industry. And at the end of it, honestly, we're all going to live here a certain point and then pass on the legacy. But if we can build a legacy for all of our children, because at some point we have to pass this on and we keep it all in the tribe. So we're also talking to some really big, like we got a couple billionaires, and we're talking to them about producing this documentary or a series which shows the rise of tribes and the rise of retreat centers with it, and how we're building this coalition that is strong and untouchable.
Mhm.
I have a question about Layla.
Mhm.
Light Dow hosted her in San Diego. Were you a part of that?
Well,
No, we were the San Diego chapter leads for Light Dow for, I mean, a very brief amount of time. We didn't
it
hear
was
about it.
Natasha. I think that you might have thought
Oh, it might have been.
it's Natasha Graziano that we
Yeah,
hosted.
we brought in Natasha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I could be wrong. And I believe that Light Dow hosted Layla in San Diego, but it could be Natasha. I could be wrong.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
kind of look similar and have similar Cleopatra-like
Okay.
energies.
Okay.
Both powerful women for sure.
Uh-huh.
Uh, yeah, and they have their energy and way of doing things. So it's not like we're super fans and we
I just like to show
yeah.
the example, right? Because then you can see what's happening in the market, like with retreat launches, retreat centers, and retreat leaders. We can have our own coalition and we don't need to fragment or sell. We just create legacies for our own families from it.
Mhm. Yeah, we do appreciate the entrepreneur savviness of them. And when you merge that with the spirituality and consciousness, because something that we have said before, we'll probably say again, is no more broke healers. So the whole like kumbaya, money monk sort of paradigm, it's over as far as we're concerned. Like this is what it looks like 2025, and entrepreneurship is emerging the consciousness with the business savvy. Here's an example actually of one of our ATLs. So Nicole is her name, and she has an existing business of online marketing where she has been selling to her clients, but not including an in-person retreat with any of them, right? So she's been generating consistent revenue through that. Yet that's been more like, oh, she's in a box of like, she's their online marketer, and that's what they hire her for, right? And just kind of noticing that there isn't that deep, soulful connection as much as there could be if there were a retreat, in-person experience, a tribe experience included with that. She has another business around the health niche, which we love, around peptides. And these are some of the things that we have noticed that people are calling her for, because she has hosted a few retreats in the psychedelic space, and those are like one-off retreats. And the deeper tribe connection and being part of an ongoing membership has not been happening. And with that, she doesn't have the revenue that would come from a membership model, because she's been charging about $1,500 for these retreats a la carte versus charging $25,000 a year. I know Charles is charging $25,000 a night, but in this example, it'd be like $25,000 a year. And it can go up from there because it'd be tiers, but it'd be a good starting place is 25,000 a year to be able to come to these retreats and be in her tribe. She'll have a lot more revenue than to pour back into her land, and she can develop it a lot faster. And then it becomes this positive, virtuous cycle. The nicer it is, the more she can charge, and so forth.
She has a beautiful 10-acre estate here in Temecula area. So.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's why in working with us as an ATL, creating this transformational retreat ecosystem by hosting retreats that combine all these things that she is passionate about. That's what people are craving is as leaders, all parts of us. And that's why we would use a term like tribe member as opposed to client, because a client by definition is a transaction-based relationship versus a tribe member, just an honoring the native tradition of whatever it takes so that you win. I have your back. In this case, about rising in wealth and health together and in consciousness.
Well, also, when you make people tribe members, then your estate is something that it becomes an extension of them and their, I would say vision, or even they will treat it like their own. So we don't have wear and tear happening on our property because of that.
Yeah, that's a good point because she was doing the Airbnb thing before. And I don't know if you all have done the Airbnb thing. I know I have. I founded 2 tiny house villages, and that was what we started out with is we're going to Airbnb out the tiny houses. And man, does the animalistic nature of people come out at times, right? It's just like they revert back to their teenage selves or college kids on spring break in Cancun, and they'll trash it at times and then leave you a bad review. And a great example of how our sovereign leadership that we're committed to cultivating gets undermined. It's just misaligned for us to do that particular model versus having tribe members who pay a lot more money than Airbnb guests and see us and honor us and have that sacred quality of being stewards of the land. They're your partners in this. So that's a bit about what Nicole's looks like as an example of someone we work with as an ATL. These are different phases that go into the ATL journey. This is relevant for you if you are called to lead retreats and really have a tribe membership to go with it. So this cat, I know this is applicable to you, I think, and we'll see how applicable this is to you, Charles. So we'll just go through this pretty quick and then we'll open up for discussion the rest of our time. This is a general framework. An ATL is typically with us for 3 years. And if they're more just starting out or transitioning, then year 1 is build your tribe, year 2 is scale your tribe, year 3 is thrive with the tribe. And sometimes people are accelerated, well, they'll build their tribe in just 8 months and then they move on to scaling their tribe. So this is approximate. And here's what each one entails. Inside of building your tribe, you have mastered speaking from stage. And this is really important. It really bothers me a bit as someone who trained speakers for 14 years, who got hired by HBO and Google to train their employees with their public speaking. I believe so deeply in the power of the stage and to really transform audiences, which to me is the one definition of a great speaker, by the way, is do you change lives when you speak, right? I don't care how often you say or forget your place. At the end of the day, have you transformed lives by you speaking? And it takes something to be able to do that. Speaking is sacred. People are giving you the most precious resource, their time and attention. So fundamentally, they have to live life differently after seeing you than before they got to see you. We have a craft method, so that's our signature process of how to do that, to facilitate this transformation, which is what the FT stands for in that. Hosting workshops, filling rooms, activate connection, enrolling from resonance, not pressure. So the enrollment piece is really important because we've seen some retreat leaders who have what we call money shadows. And shadow is a term from Carl Jung, the part of myself I hide, deny, or repress. So a money shadow would be this conflicted relationship with money where they want it, but then they think it's wrong or sinful. And this happens a lot with retreat leaders who tend to be spiritual. And that's why this is foundational, is that you have a healthy relationship with making money that is directly linked with the transformational value you provide, and you're able to effectively do it over and over. So as a baseline to be earning 8,000 per month every month consistently, at least, that's what it means to build your tribe. You're able to do that consistently. And we like that number because for most people, they're able to do this full time when they're earning 8,000 per month. That's just generally speaking, if they're able to do that. Some people move through this phase quickly, or they're already at this phase when they come to us and they want to move to scale your tribe. At this point, you are leading multi-day in-person retreats, and with our tribe model, you are doing a tribe launch where you're going to be earning $100,000 plus from that 3-day retreat. And we have templates that we take you through with our ATLs. We're usually in your corner managing the retreat for you so that you get to show up, and we make sure whatever it takes that you have the success that you're here to have. So we've done this with 5 retreats now, and everyone has earned 100,000 plus now with it. The revenue octopus, where you have the multiple revenue streams, so you're not just relying on the front end of what people pay to come to the retreat. You have the tribe investment that people make at the end, and then you have different deals that can happen there with different products that you're affiliated with, different guest speakers who come in. That's what we mean by revenue octopus. We customize that with you. Expand your personal brand and team support, where you're scaling now, and we are in your corner to help you scale. We have a really strong team where we have tribe concierge, tribe enrollment that we can bring to you as well. And you step into this Retreappreneur identity, whereby you're earning at least 30,000 per month every month. And those numbers can be higher too. One reason I have Joe Dispenza on here is that his success has always fascinated me a bit, because I have a hard time listening to him, and I'm just not really compelled to him, yet he's able to sell out arenas at this point in time. So I want there to be a sense of like, well, if he can do it, then you can do it as well. All right, and the final phase would be Thrive with Tribe. And at this point, you are a steward of land, legacy, large scale impact. You have your own land. You are working with other leaders to be hosting on your land as well. Oftentimes, these would be, if you're an abundant tribe leader yourself, then this would be people within your tribe. And this is why it's great to work with entrepreneurs and investors who need to be hosting their own events, their own workshops, their own summits, to be gathering potential clients and potential investors together. So we work with people directly in this way to make sure that those events are as successful as possible. You'll get to be the land holder for that, either yourself or with others, to be hosting these gatherings. You'll be monetizing land through your own memberships, and that's one way you can be charging more for the memberships, is that they get to use your property for the events. And you're building generational wealth through land and alternative investments. And that's something that we're really excited about as this is happening more and more within the tribes, is that the deal flow that's happening, where they're able to go in on real estate, or someone has, a commodities trading fund as an example, where they're able to say, hey, I've found this vehicle is providing really great returns, and they'll share with each other. And it's within the tribe, there's that trust, and there's vetting that goes on. And of course, like, due diligence is absolutely critical. Yet, because it's coming from a trusted tribe versus a Facebook sponsored ad, it's all the difference in terms of the trustworthiness and credibility that goes along with that. And at this point, you're earning at least 100,000 per month every month. Hansi, do you want to add anything to this?
Well, I want to give an example where one of the highest level of membership we sold was 250,000 for 1 year. And that same person came on board as an investor for one of our properties and also in the fund, right? So if you have a tribe of high level leaders, then some of these things become ease, like really, you can build out the top 5% of your tribe with people that are really at high level, and you don't have to ever think about money.
So now we'd like to open up to you all. Which phase are you currently in? What excites you most? What feels scary? Where do you feel called to rise? If you have any uh, lack of clarity about where you fit in with this, this would be the opportunity to express that as well. I just want to do a check-in with you all. Either one of you can go first, Kat or Charles.
Okay, I'll start. I think I'm in phase three, but I don't really think I've done phase one and two really well. I just just find myself in phase three because I did it out of hobby more than I did it out of business. I have another business, so I just am able to fund this through my own as business owners. So yeah, I find myself in phase three. I have held many events and hosted many dinners. Have a lot growing you know, these all black tie events and, you know, and kind of top artists in the world. But I didn't know what to do with it. I just kind of did it because I liked it. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I appreciate that so much, the bringing people together and then afterwards having to figure out the precise business model. I know that extremely well myself. I started throwing house parties when I was 16. I had the good benefit of having a large house and parents who traveled a lot for work. So I saw the opportunity like a good entrepreneur and took it, right? And uh, later on, as I was hosting events, I was doing music and arts festivals and really know the pain of, I mean, for me anyhow, as I was like making my own way as an entrepreneur of not having a system for consistent income and how I was really bringing people together in a way that when they paid more, then they showed up more, right?
Yeah. And actually, this is something I'm making confession now. So uh, I think first of all, the feedback that I have from, let's say, the 4 or 5 dinners I've held, and not just dinners, like evening, okay, was that I think people pretty much, I mean, DC to impress a crowd of the high level crowd, they're saying this is one of them that holds the Oscar for like the artist of the year, says this is the most inspiring evening she's ever been to. Now, I don't. She's been to a lot of events, but like all I did was I just did everything the best I felt I would like it, and so it's like my manifestation of a beautiful piece of art that I appreciate. And by the way, I never charge for these events. So they're all just hosted for free. I just pay it all. And I'm in a situation where I think I can't keep doing this anymore. So I don't have any membership. I got just it's just out of love because I believe in it. But now I'm like I want to sustain this. It's obviously there's something good about this, but I have no idea what model to build on it. That's kind of where I'm at.
I
Mm.
love that, Charles. So you figured like you got this big heart, you got this beautiful property, you're like, I'm going to create an experience I'm craving, right? Like that's how we've created what we have. We wanted to go to these experiential retreats and meet people and be on the land and be in nature, and we created that. And then we're like, we need to make this sustainable because it's putting a lot of money out of our pocket. Because we had a breaking point at our fourth or third event because we're like, if we don't do this right, we're gonna be like broke in the sense like, we'll be because we have other businesses too, and we were funding a lot of it. And then we launched, and then the first retreat we made $286,000 from that by launching the memberships. So that was like, our parents were like getting worried because we just have such a big heart, and they're like, "What are you guys doing?"
Are you sure about this guy, honey? Mossy?
So we had to learn it that way too. And now we know that 50K, 100K offers are super easy. Like all these people, we can strategize and monetize that way they can sustain and they have the money. So it's just like they're spending it somewhere else. They might as well spend it with the right people, right? So I love that. Like you already got some experience under your belt and the pain and the pain of spending so much.
Yeah. And you probably heard before that attention goes where money flows, right? Some version of that. So by not charging, it could be made, the case could be made that you're doing them a disservice. That actually the attention that you are called to put them on, whether it's the connection with each other, the transformation, the playing the bigger game of their purpose, whatever speaks to you in terms of the impact you're here to have, is not being fully realized because there's no skin in the game for them.
Yeah, actually, that's that. Because a lot of them fed back and says, Charles, we were waiting at the end of the evening to give you money, but you never asked. And
You're keeping money on the table, Charles.
but I'm like, then this is really. I think I do have a problem with, at least in this side of my. I might have a money shadow thing. So here it is. Okay, which is I'm not sure if it's a money shadow. I think it's more like, well, if I really assess the true cost of tonight, it's like 5,000 per ticket. Okay, I don't want to stress out you guys just to not come because of that, but I do want to put something. I don't want to drop the quality, and I'm only limiting to 24 people. Like I'm not putting 100 people together because this is compromises the outcome. And so, um, like what I did was I put in the Michelin star food, obviously, and then the world class musicians, and then obviously every single thing. I have my own club, I have my own everything. So then I'm like, okay, this is kind of me expressing it. Yeah, I'm at a point right now. I need to figure a way to not um like to me at the early stage. I'm thinking I'm making a friend that's worth a lot to me, and as someone that's coming to town, and I'm thinking I don't want to put a price tag on that and limit that. But I'm at a point right now where I need to sustain this, and people do appreciate it. They look forward to it, but then I don't know what to reach out on without a model. Yeah.
Totally. I love that. You're in a really sweet spot, actually. The pain can be transmuted to a lot of wealth here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Monty and I grew up with entrepreneur parents, and what I saw, so my mother's Chinese from Hong Kong, my father is Jewish American, and uh, both cultures have this in common, where there is a sense of when my mom's with her Chinese friends, my dad with his Jewish friends, that there is a tribe aspect of it, and oftentimes they're doing business with each other. I remember being at the Chinese restaurants, be around the Lazy Susan, and then they would toast. I was a kid watching this. The toast was to good friends and good business.
Mhm.
And I really like that integration of friendship and business. And when I was bar mitzvahed, it was all my parents' business friends, some of whom I was meeting for the first time, who were at the house, right, for the bar mitzvah. So I believe that there is maybe a money shadow around there, that there would be this next level. And what we know is that anytime we've ascended or helped others ascend, not everyone is going to be on board. And that's okay, because it makes room for others who are on board, who do get it, who do want to see you thrive. And some of those people are already there. When it doesn't get any more direct feedback than Charles, we want to give you money, right? Those people will be part of this next chapter. And the people who are on that frequency will as well.
Love that.
Kat, how about you?
First, I want to commend Charles for his vision, his execution, and highlighting the luxury market. I consider myself somewhat bougie, but in the most positive way. My daughter says, Mommy, how come we look rich and Poppy doesn't? Well, in my marriage for 15 years, as a family, we hosted events. They started with 6 people, and by the end, we had over 125 guests. We hosted black tie events, Michelin star type dinners, luncheons, and it was not focused on retreats, but it was very heartwarming. And I hesitate to tell you what it is, but I will go ahead and tell you that they were sporting clay events. So there were very high net worth guests who, had very expensive gun collections. And we had sponsors, very high-end sponsors. I can't remember who the host of Louis Vuitton is. We had Parazzi. We had, wonderful sponsors. And we have a network of, beautiful people that also want to leave a legacy. I am in stage 1 at this point for retreats, but I do have an affinity for land. I do appreciate your framework, and this is exactly what I've been looking for, just support so that I could catapult my vision. And I am going to Burning Man for the third time soon, this month, where a few of our members of our camp have the means to support this. Possibly, we have a VC in attendance and other guests that might be interested. And I was wondering if you have a document that I could share with them, as I probably don't have at this point the capital investment for part of this project, but they do.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's where the backroom deals are, right? So we have a concept of dimes and dollars. So your memberships and all of that tribe, all that is dimes because it pretty much goes back into the community with the type of experiences you host. And then the dollars is the deals you crack with these people, right? Like expansion, like another retreat center or someone putting money in a fund, or if you're a developer, then coming on board as investors. There's so many. Yeah. So we would love to have a one-on-one before you head out and then help you out.
Yeah, that'll be the next step with both of you. And this is why we keep it intimate. So we're really able to have this connection with you all. And then it's your first time meeting us and getting context for us and what we're about. And then we'll have a one-on-one with each of you and then customize what those next steps are. And then certainly set you up to win going into Burning Man. Kat. To Monty's point about yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to it, both you guys. With the dimes and dollars, just to add a little more clarification, we use a mafia example at times because it makes sense, right? Where
mafia without the crime is tribe.
Yeah. If you remove the criminal element to mafia, what are you left with? It's soul family rising in business together. So it's a very useful paradigm when you look at, well, what does the mafia do? Again, removing the criminal element and replacing it instead with the Hippocratic oath of do no harm, right? What are you left with then? Well, one of the things that you're left with is this model of front room and back room, or dimes and dollars, where a mafia might have a bar, typically would be the front room. If we were to go back, say, to the 1930s, right? Or whenever around Prohibition, like when there were bars around, right? So that would be the front room where the bar might do pretty well, right? And it was natural to have people hang out there, so it was not suspicious. Yet in the back room was a casino, and that's where the real money gets made. In this case, the Abundance Tribe, the membership would be the bar where people come and hang out. And to Monty's point, it'll be profitable in itself, right? Because you want to have like quality people there and it's not inexpensive. A friend of ours, Dan Fleischman, charges $100,000 for his year-long tribe. And he pours a lot back in. He's like you, Charles, right? It's really high-end luxury experience. I think they do 4 a year, like every quarter, to get together for 3 days, right? Really, really high-end, like Miami, Vegas, right? Like the real high-end.
So this 100K pretty much goes back into experiences, but
Yeah.
it's already in its own a business vertical that's profitable and, breaking even or profitable. Then the deals that he cracks, and that's where,
And that's what it does, is that it has a commitment level to it where people are paying 100,000 to be there. So then it's more natural for them to pull the trigger on something else, like in the back room, right? Because they've already associated like putting money down value with being there. And he over delivers so much with the tribe experience. So then when it comes to, all right, we're going to be developing a city, or we're going to be building this complex or something like that together, it's a lot more natural to be doing those deals with one another. So you can think of the front room being worth tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, and then the back room would be the tens of millions or hundreds of millions, right? That's a setup for an abundance tribe.
So can I ask the one question, which I'm sure you're aware of, is there's a lot of elite you can say elitist clubs, right? And billionaire club, millionaire clubs, whatever. I really want to not compromise on quality of the virtue of what I'm looking for. I don't want a bunch of egos in the room. You know what I mean? It's just like, and I'm not here to please them. I got a business to run. I'm not here to be there. This is one of 10. But I want to let it sustain itself, and I want it to become as inspiring as possible to allow for the other things to happen. Because every single kind of, I believe a retreat can do things that some other, like real estate, just can't. And so on that note, how do you, like, I'm nervous. I already know a few people, for example, that will not be able to afford 100,000 per year, but yet at the same time, their level of impact or maturity in what I'm looking for is someone that I would like to be in the tribe, but yet I don't want to compromise the quality of it. And so it's just a bit of, yeah, it's just kind of trying to figure out that.
I think it's actually simpler than you might be making it right now.
Okay.
If you were to think of yourself as the principal of a university, let's say,
Mm,
that their tuition to say Harvard is
mm,
whatever, 100,000 a year or whatever it is, right? And you have certain scholarship slots available with
mm,
students who you believe would do Harvard proud once they're out in the
mm,
world. And
mm.
typically it's in athletics, some academic, right? But there are
Yeah.
ways in which it would do Harvard proud.
Yeah.
So you can have certain slots like that you would allow in on a
Yeah.
case.
Yeah, they're like honorary slots
Yeah.
because we're creating the culture, Charles, right? So
Yes.
once we create a culture with anchor members that you absolutely love, and this is what you want, because these people will be the first of it, and some will be honorary, some will pay. Then now the coalition will attract the right people.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about the ego. And the people culture is what we built from the beginning.
So can I ask this question? When people start paying membership fees, just a question is, do they start being very entitled feeling? Because I don't want to lose a level of like we are, how do I put it? Maybe it's an Asian thing, John, by the way. So I think it might be an Asian thing. Like, I don't like taking people's money. Like, I like to earn it, but I don't like to take it. Like, uh,
Right.
and I feel like I'm responsible now to like deliver value to you or like to serve you if you're paying me something, versus it being a business where I earned the money. Like you didn't pay me, I earned it, kind of thing.
Well, okay, so it may or may not be an Asian thing. What I'll say is that you are earning the money, to be absolutely clear,
Right.
because you're delivering an incredible tribe experience. That's what
Mm,
this membership is. From the luxury touches, the thoughtfulness that you bring is very
mm,
apparent. I think we all can see that. And
mm,
you creating the experience that you would most want to have, you may or may not be surprised that most people do not do that. There's
mm,
a lack of care, thoughtfulness in their events. Most events are pretty lousy, right?
mm,
Like
mm.
we're just
Boring, right? Like midway,
world,
you're
right?
gonna go.
You are taking excellent care of them and earning it with the thought that you're putting in to every
Yeah.
single touch point that they have. Something else that we found too is that when and your integrity is really apparent too, I'll say, right, that they'll honor, also really appreciate your sense of integrity and your character. That is invaluable in itself, right?
Mm,
That you're not just taking their money, you really care about them winning. And
mm.
once they're in, it opens up so many other opportunities and
Mm.
the backroom stuff, right, that
Yes.
the membership dues is almost inconsequential.
Mm. I
Right.
see.
And there's another way of setting it up where we could attach an impact fund with it. That way, people know that good portion of it is going towards something that's nonprofit. So the entitlement goes away. It becomes more of just
Yes.
give and take. So we set it up that way where it's going to be on its
Yes.
profitable and portions of the profit go there and it's sustainable. And then now you have this beautiful tribe. And then what we do is we give you a template of onboarding agreements and
Mm.
tribe kind of like tribe oath.
Mm. Mm.
So they have like anytime entitlement shows up, the concierge of the
Oh,
tribe will be like, do you remember this oath? Like, are
yes.
you really living by it? Right. So there's multiple ways of bringing people because Ego is something that keeps us going. It has its own place, right? Like we can't exist without ego because it
Mm,
keeps us in the hustle and survival and keep doing things.
mm.
But then when it comes in the wrong way, because the ego has a positive, negative that it
Sure.
plays, right? So the negative needs to be balanced out, and there is like all these ways of doing it. So there's multiple ways of keeping people in check.
Yeah, so I'm in support line in a sense. I think ego is important. I just don't want it to be overtaking the actual culture. Like, when someone dominates, because I'm a top paying member, and therefore I get to say this, and like, whoa, 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 what you pay is midget towards what it really costs me.
Truly, I get it. And your concerns are valid.
Yeah.
At the same time, yeah, think of yourself as the culture builder because
Mm,
your frequency and your vortex is
mm,
what we're going to attract more of.
sure.
So we have to have spiritual practices to keep some of these things out.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
With
Yeah.
the I'll just add this. With the abundance tribes, they have different flavors, right? Because of different personalities for the ATLs. Ours is a transformational container to a high degree. And one reason it is that way is because we're training ATLs to be able to hold space for anything that can happen in your tribe. So it requires you to be a certain type of leader in terms of not getting triggered, not being reactive, in terms of understanding people's situation with empathy and wisdom, right? So ours is very much a transformational container. Others vary. I would say that yours will be a transformational container that will be distinct from a typical billionaires club like type of thing that you might have seen elsewhere because those are not transformational containers. And I think that's where some of the ego you're referring to and comparison and pissing contest, that stuff can be a lot more commonplace there. And going back to what would you most want to experience, you probably wouldn't want to be in those clubs where that was really a common thing, the pissing contest and all that. You want
Yes.
to be one where you are growing as a person, where you could say at the end of your 1 year membership, right? And then you'll probably renew year after year because it's been so fulfilling, is that you're a better person now. You have less ego attachment. You came in maybe more competitive, and now you're a lot more collaborative. And there's ways to design this transformation for your people. It's one of the things that we do with you all as ATLs is that, all right, at this retreat, you're going to have this 90-minute section that's going to have them look at their ego
Mm,
and that they might call up someone in their life that they were controlling with their ego. It could be their employee, it could be their business partner, it could be their
mm.
spouse or their kid. And you have them do that exercise right then and there. And then they come back and then share the breakthroughs they had from it. So that's in real time, the ego is getting dissolved.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. I think I took too much time, Kate. Kat, I don't have you.
Oh no, please. I'm enjoying this. This is actually beautiful. It's right, and I feel very much aligned. And I mean, if you would like to continue, please be my guest.
I think we have so the last question I got is I kind of just signed up to this because I just needed some intel on how to run. To just I don't know anything about the space. I just kind of did it, and I thought, well, there's this thing that I should click into, and maybe I get something out of it. What am I expecting here, guys? I'm not quite sure because I thought this was like a call, and that's about it. I thought it was like a presentation, and I wasn't sure what to expect. So I'm not sure what I might. Is there supposed to be more follow-ups, or is it just supposed to be this call?
Well, this was an intro to us to get to connect, and then you get a sense of our framework and our approach and our personalities and all that. And then the next step would be to have a one-on-one call with you this coming week. Will be our
Right.
preference while this is fresh for you. So, how
Oh,
does that sound to you, Charles?
It will be very nice as soon as possible because I'm traveling all the time, so I'm running. I might be so we'll find a time that works. Yeah, that
Yeah,
will.
actually, while we're here, it's just us right now. One reason I like to keep it intimate. If we could get something on calendar while we're working with you right now, that would be great. So if we were to look to this Tuesday, would be good for us. The 5th, do you have time on Tuesday?
No, but Monday could.
Monday,
Okay.
what?
Monday the 4th. Yeah.
Okay. How's 10:30 a.m. our time? Because I know you're on the East Coast.
So what is that equivalent to? Could you just Google that quickly? What's
That would
that?
be 1:30 your time.
1:30. 1:30.
1:30. Yeah, perfect. That works. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do 10:30, and then we have your email from the Luma, so we'll send you the calendar invite there.
How long do you think? Is it 1 hour or is it kind of?
Yeah, 1 hour and 15 minutes max.
Okay. So it'll be ideal if it's 1, if it's possible, just because I got a 2:30, so I don't want to push too far. Yeah. Yeah. In case we need extra time. Yeah. So
Okay.
1 or 1:30 is fine. Yeah.
Do you want to do, John, do you want to do 10 then? That way, because he has a back-to-back. So there's like a little cushion for space for him to.
Yeah, that might be better because if you have
Okay.
a out at 2:30, then
Yeah.
a little bit tight. So how about we say 1 o'clock your time Monday?
Perfect. Let's do that.
Awesome, Charles. Look forward to
Awesome.
getting to know you and dive deep.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay. Absolutely. So you're welcome to stay on, or we'll see you on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, before we make our appointment for my one-on-one and Tuesday is fine. Charles, it was a pleasure to get to know you virtually, and I am proud of what you're creating. And I would like, and I don't know if this is premature, but I'm moved to say this, that one of my BFFs is moving to Virginia
Mm.
and he will be working at the Pentagon. So
Mm.
I plan on coming out a few times a year to the
Mm.
area. And I
Mm.
would be happy to volunteer my services to support you in your endeavor. If there is a particular event, I'm happy to just, roll up my sleeves and support you in the effort of learning from you.
Thank you, Kate. I appreciate that. I am, yeah, I think I'm very much, how to put this? Mm. I think I'm just working on anything that inspires me, and I'm just praying to God that you can keep going until the day that I can't do it anymore. It's a bit of, I'm more of an artist, I think, than an entrepreneur, to be honest. Like, and I do not know how I ended up making money, by the way, on my other ventures, because I'm definitely an artist. So,
I think it's your heart, Charles. You were born with a big heart and you already understand a lot of spiritual concepts on how to like serve others in the highest best possible way. While you're serving yourself, you're serving others too. So that's what it is.
Yeah. How about this? So we do want to connect everyone. If you want to post your numbers in the chat, and then that
Cool.
way I'll can text each other too.
Charles, you possess what many people cannot buy, and that is integrity, vulnerability, and virtue. So you're ahead of the game.
Thank you. Here's my number. We'll stay in touch.
So beautiful.
All right, I won't hold you off. Thank you. I'll
Thank you,
see
Charles. Have a beautiful, magical weekend. We'll talk to you next week. Monday.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Stand by until I copy his number, or for now, I can just take a photograph really quick.
Sure.
Okay. And Tuesday, I'm available early in the morning or after 2.
Let's see. We generally do late morning, early afternoon. So if you're saying after 2,
We could do 2:30.
yeah, like a 2:30.
Yes.
You'll be back grounded by that time.
Yes.
Perfect.
Just trying to.
That was amazing. It's just always the divine clients, right? Or divine tribe members that show up. So I love it.
That's one thing that you'll notice too, Kat, as you apply this model and you're having your own tribe, is that the pushing, forcing energy that is so common, in business, it goes away. You're just attracting, magnetizing at that point, the things that make you come alive. Like we were excited to go to Ken, not knowing who we meet. And now here we are, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yes. I've been in the flow now for a while, and I would say that a big part of it is Light Dow as well for me. So between the kin and Light Dow, I'm so grateful and blessed.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
Any final takeaways from our time today before we wrap up and see you on Tuesday?
I'm meeting with, let's see, your coach Monday on Zoom. Is there anything that you would like me to share with him so that it would be a more natural progression to work with you all?
I'm sorry, who are you meeting with? Our
I'm
coach?
meeting with your coach?
No, Evan, he's not our coach. He was our partner. Yeah,
Your
sorry.
partner. Okay, so I'm meeting with Evan Monday. So I'm having a Zoom call with him. And since I'm pretty much at, I mean, I have my brand, I have my focus, I have the values of what it is that I want to inspire the world and humanity and how I want to, facilitate. But is there something that I should focus on with him so that it becomes a symbiotic situation with us all? So
We don't know his model right now.
okay.
Yeah, when he was working with us, he was helping tribe members with because he started helping clinics, so he's taken a different route. And what we do is we package everything, right? So when you come on board, ours is a whole package of creating your brand story, your landing page, your all of it together, because we now have an in-house team that does all of that.
Right. So
After the
since my funds are limited at this point, I mean, I definitely look forward to receiving the abundance check from the quantum field. It's coming.
It is.
Right. But until then, I don't want to overlap my efforts or my investment. So, I mean, as long as you and John feel that we are all aligned, do you think that I need Evan at this point?
At this point, you don't really, because from what you're doing, we can get you launched and cover everything. That would be a part of, like, we have a wholesome package where we help you build the tribe, scale the tribe, and then cover all of the assets that are needed with it. Because that was one of the conundrums with him is he was charging a lot and it was just not feasible because funds are limited. And then we had to come up with an in-house team that kind of did everything in a way that was all inclusive and keep it in budget.
Okay. I don't want to offend him, but I don't want to have this overlapping investment. So if you believe that we are aligned, as I believe I am with you, I love what you're doing and it's beautiful. And I think I might just cancel with
Yeah,
Evan.
if you say you already have a brand, like he specializes in brand story and then kind of giving you some assets that you can just post and stuff, like reels and stuff. But if we work together, when we do, we will capture all of that for you, right? So that way you're not spending extra and then the cost of everything has come down and it's all in one because we'll be guiding you through the whole process of
Okay.
the membership model, being in your corner, all of that. So everything's available with us now. And
Okay.
that was one of the fork in the partnership that happened because his pricing was like competing with our packages, and then he was only a part of the puzzle and we wanted the whole puzzle solved, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. I've been spending a lot of money on coaches and without really receiving the benefit that it wasn't sustainable for me to continue with these particular coaches.
We get it. The ROI is so important. Like your win and your money is we take it as sacred as ours in the sense that it's together that when you make money, so that's why we keep it boutique. We don't exceed like more than 15 to 18 clients. And then every single person wins, right? That's like our goal. So our goal would be to how to get that quantum field manifestation of where the money's in the vortex right now, just to get cashed out, right? Like that's what we'll start working on. And then as soon as you decide to put your live event, maybe even a 1-day immersion or 2-day, whatever, we capture that. So everything's then aligned, and we start showing people like this is what you're doing. And then more people just sign up from there.
Okay. And I am slightly impatient. So phase one, I really look forward to accelerating that.
So, okay, that helps a lot, right? So when you say phase one acceleration, right now, how many clients are you serving with your gifts?
I have one right now.
Okay.
I had others, and I am looking forward to receiving more, but I have one paying client. I have been giving my services away now for a couple of years, just so that I can ramp up. I have a framework. I see what works, what doesn't work, and I'm ready to monetize. I have no problem asking for money. A little background story. Do I have a couple minutes more?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I mentioned yesterday at the kin that I was in the car business for over 25 years. And maybe the last 15 years, I was finance director and a finance manager. And so I worked 4.5 years with Aston Martin, Mercedes, high-end car lines, Land Rover, Jaguar. And my function was to sell intangibles, to negotiate with Chase, with Toyota, with the banks, and look at credit, and then also ask people for $750,000 or $500,000 or
Right.
250. And then they would come into my office and they would have a $2,000 payment, and they said that they're maxed out, and I was able to increase that by $200 a month, where, so I have no problem asking for money.
Okay, good. That's awesome. So that's out of the way. What we would do is once you do come on board, we will look at your offer stack. We have offers that, took people from $1,000 a month to $35,000, right? So like you're offering, how you're structuring it, because we know what people are craving right now. And as long as we can create those and it's all your gifts packaged together, that's where the money cranking comes, right? So then we will teach you how to do these like basically sessions. We call them magic sessions because it's more heart-based sales. Like people are eager to work with you, kind of like how you want to work with us, they want to work with you. So we create that, and then from there it's a no-brainer. It's just like keeps happening. And then there was a live immersion, we capture that, and then you could do your retreat. So yeah, it's a pretty ascendant model.
All right. And are there occasions to come see your property in San
Absolutely.
Diego? But prior to that, it would all be via Zoom or one-on-one? Do we meet in person?
Uh, well, this is the stuff we're going to get into on Tuesday, right? So it's fine that we're getting a head start. We're going to answer all this on Tuesday. And answer your question since it came up. Absolutely. This is our ATL headquarters, right? So as an ATL, you get access to our retreats that we host that are exclusively for ATL, our public events where you can meet, network, get positioned as a leader, right, in front of our other events. And we have 3 separate houses here on the property. One of them has a full-time tenant, but the other 2, one of them we dedicate for ATLs that they can use as a getaway, right? If you want to leave LA and then stay in that house for a night or 2, right? Like that's available to you. So yes, you're going to see lots of the property, lots of us.
Well, and if I have time for a couple more questions, I like your mycelium network wallpaper, John, in the background.
That's
That
all
was
my
me.
love work.
That was me, yeah.
I like it. So I am a certified psychedelic assisted facilitator under MAPS. I have a certification to sit in integrity and harm reduction for psilocybin and MDMA, canna, and cacao. I haven't actually participated in any other medicines myself, so I'm not able to facilitate for those. But what is your philosophy on that? That's how I normally start my integrations, is with the heart opening.
I
Just
love
want to.
that. We
Oh,
have
okay.
that wallpaper to kind of do a little litmus test, how people react to that, right? Because we are big into plant medicine. Like our favorite is psilocybin, San Pedro. I know you probably haven't sat with that, but it's not a psychedelic. It's going back to your roots and ancestors,
I see.
and it's amazing. It's a cactus.
Okay, yes. I haven't been called, but I have been invited twice for San Pedro ceremonies. I've been invited for ayahuasca in Costa Rica, and it was a leadership retreat. And anyway, somehow I wasn't called yet, but I have done hape. So I have a friend, he's an indigenous wisdom keeper, and he supported my Arate day treat at the Kin. It was a 5 hour retreat, and I invited maybe 40 people. It was oversubscribed, so I had more interest than I had space for. And
Wow, that's a good problem to have. Hape is such a healing a medicine. It purges everything out that you don't need in your body. We do hape almost every day.
oh, wonderful. This particular retreat, because it was at the Kin, we um, the indigenous wisdom keeper, Salvador, he served kanna and cacao, just because kanna is a legal hardened pathogen out of South Africa, as you know.
Mhm.
And but my favorite really is for couples, for Mali. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jimmy, that's how the whole business was born, Kat.
that's what you said. Oh, that's right. That's what you said. Yes, that
Yeah,
is so beautiful. Well, I'm just thrilled and honored to know you both, and you're doing beautiful things and leaving a legacy. And I am just so tickled to be a part of it.
we would love to have you, and all of the ATLs will love you too. And yeah, we're building a new earth economy, Kat, right? So when you come in, we're like, how can we make sure that what you're building also makes your kids win, right? Like, how can they take over the legacy of all the hard work you're putting in right now and protect all of that? Because people get wins in our country, then they can't secure it or they don't know how to, or, all of that. So that's why it's a really amazing 3 year journey.
A quick little story. When I was inspired to go on this journey, I believe that I've been on a spiritual journey since I was born. So as I look back, things make sense. But really, the catalyst was divorce and an accident and some amazing, miraculous, synchronistic stories that at some point I will be sharing. But about 4 years ago, my son, who was 18, said to me, Mama, we don't know what you're doing, but it's rubbing off on us.
Aww,
It's one of the greatest compliments I ever received.
I love that. They see your heart, they see who you are, and what you're becoming is just inspiring for them.
Thank you. And then I did a TED talk and they were there, and my friend captured their reaction to standing on stage. And that was the second most beautiful, moment. I mean, short of the birth of both of them. Yeah. So, I just feel really blessed right now and in a receiving mode, and just loving to just learn as much as I can. And the more I learn, the more I realize I hope I live long enough to learn more. I plan on living to be 111 at this point.
I love that. You will, with all your heart and mission. The
Thank
world needs more of you. So I love it. I feel like you are in a space where you got what you're offering. You like all the ingredients to the recipe to creating your a 7-figure ecosystem is there. We just have to really like give you the framework, be in your support, and like just kind of keep that, how like you want that radio frequency and you're like, oh, the noise, like we just keep fine tuning and then we'll get there.
I love everything about frequency and energy and waves and resonance. And I saw that your first picture was Marianne Williamson, who I like. I went to Dr. Joe Dispenza's 3-day seminar at the Shrine. And I understand what you're saying, John, about him, but he does capture 5,200 people for 3 days, and he's on stage, pretty much the whole time, and people are captivated. But he limits his semantics. He limits the spiritual aspect. He doesn't even call them energy centers. I mean, let alone chakras. He calls them number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, it was an interesting model to observe, but he has been instrumental in sharing the advanced technologies because, where I know the three of us, we believing is seeing. Most of the world is seeing. Seeing is believing. So he's given the world that, which is a great bridge to where we're at.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job bringing transformation to people who might not otherwise access it. He's found something to click, and that to me is the objective for any transformational leader: is how can we bridge? Like, how can we make it accessible to those who might otherwise not get it? It's only so much preaching to the choir that we're really meant to do. But like when you go outside the church, so to speak, and impact lives, that to me is next level. And he's certainly done that. All right. Well, we're really excited to connect with you and dive further on Tuesday, Kat. You're truly a miracle of a human being, a wonderful leader. We're excited to co-create with you.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful weekend, and I look forward to speaking to you on Tuesday.
Yes, us too.
All right.